Well, I've been thinking about the election, the presidential election, and it's not good. It is not good, people. We are in dire straits, and I don't know how we're going to get out of it. I mean, you look at the candidates that are, oh, there's an M3 for sale. You look at the candidates on both sides, man, and it's, I mean, you just look at them and you're thinking to yourself, is this the best that we can do out of a country of 320 million people? These imbeciles are the best that we could round up in order to fix our problems. Whew. Man, that's depressing. Super Tuesday is coming up, and we'll see how that shakes out. I mean, it looks like Hilga is going to have enough super delegates to really punish Bernie, so I'm not sure Bernie can really hang on. He's fighting a good fight, but he just doesn't have the money behind him, and he doesn't have the super delegates behind him. And on the other side, man, every one of them has got a bunch of hang-ups. Every single one of them has baggage. I mean, you look at the Trumper. Holy Moses, this guy is just... Well, first and foremost, nobody loves Donald Trump more than Donald Trump. And to me, that's a problem. Because if you've got an ego as big as his, you're bound to do something stupid that you're going to regret. And he's the kind of guy... I tell you what, Donald is the kind of guy that if the premier of China called him 10 minutes late on a conference call, Donald Trump would like issue a massive multi-billion-dollar embargo on China just to show the guy up to tell him, hey, don't call me 10 minutes late. I mean, the guy is just, he's like a rattle can upstairs. He is not playing with a full deck of cards. And plus he flip-flops on everything he's ever said. I mean, shit, he's more Democrat than he is conservative anyways. There's no getting around that. And the other thing that Trump's going to have a problem with, and what he doesn't understand is, see, he thinks, everything he does is magnificent. I'm going to make magnificent deals. I've done magnificent deals. I've built magnificent casinos. You should see my golf courses. They're magnificent. My kids are magnificent. Shit, everything he does is magnificent. But what he doesn't understand is, when you're the CEO of Trump Enterprises or whatever it is, and you want to change the carpet to linoleum, you just command it to be done and it's done. You don't have to ask anyone's opinion about it. You just say you want to change it and you put somebody on it and they change it. There's no vote that's being taken. Your word is God. Well, it doesn't work like that in Congress, unfortunately, or fortunately, probably. Obama doesn't seem to understand that, but you got a triad of power struggle. I mean, the executive can only do so much. You got to deal with the legislative, Congress, and then you got to deal with the Supreme Court, judicial. And so it's built that way so you can't do everything you want to do. It's a balance of power, separation of powers. So he's got to figure out a way to work with other people, and I'm not sure he understands how to do that. So you look at the other ones besides Trump, what do we have? Well, it's not much better. You got Rubio. Problem with Rubio is he never shows up for work. He was elected senator of Florida, and he doesn't show up to take votes. Now he says, well, the votes are, the bills and stuff, it's already baked into the cake. My vote doesn't count. It's either going to pass or fail, whether I'm there or not. It's just a token vote. Well, you know what? That's not how working, that's not how working for a living works. Yeah, there's things that I don't have to do to show up at work. The sausage will still get made, but I still have to show up anyways. I mean, if you're the manager of McDonald's, you can't just say, oh, hey, whether I'm there or not, the fries are still going to get salted, so what do I need to be there for? No, you still have to show up. I mean, that's part of the deal. That's part of, making your salary. And Rubio, the asshole, doesn't want to show up for work and take votes. And, I'm not voting for somebody who doesn't want to do that. Sure as hell I'm not going to give him a promotion. And then you got Cruz. Well, I mean, Cruz constitutionally, he's got that going for him, which isn't bad. But, he's flip-flopped on a number of issues. He can't really decide what he wants to do, border security-wise and amnesty-wise and illegal immigration-wise. He seems to redefine his position about every day on that. And then, of course, he's had major campaign issues with his people running the campaign. He had the issue with Carson, saying his handlers were saying Carson was getting out of the race. And he had another issue, I think, with Rubio. So that's not too good for him. And then you got Kasich, who's he's a limp noodle. Forget him. People in Ohio don't even like him. And Ben Carson. Carson's a great doctor, I'm sure, but he didn't know shit about politics. But here's the thing about Carson. And I totally wrote off Carson from the very beginning because he doesn't know anything about politics. He doesn't know how the sausage gets made in Washington. But here's why I'm coming back around to Carson just a little bit. If you look at Carson's negatives, the biggest negative that he has is he doesn't know anything. He's ignorant to politics. He's ignorant to how things work and get done. It's not like he's up to speed on international diplomacy or, international economics or anything like that. He's a surgeon. He's a neurosurgeon. And that's a big problem. He just doesn't know enough. But, and this is a pretty big but, if you start comparing Carson's negative, his ignorance, against everyone else's negative, biggest drawback, it doesn't start to look so bad, really, when you think about it. I mean, the other ones have honesty issues and integrity issues and personality disorders. So, you can fix ignorance. You can get a working knowledge of things. And I got to think that the guy's, since he's a neurosurgeon, he could, freshen up and get up to speed on a few things he didn't understand about. But some of those other things from the other candidates, those are like DNA level flaws. I'm not sure you're going to be able to fix that. Trump is going to be a megalomaniac 2 years from now, just like he's been for the last 25 years. And that's not to say Ben Carson is a good candidate. He's not a good candidate. We don't have any good candidates. We're just picking the lesser of evils. And this is not good. This is how we get into trouble every time. You could throw a protest vote to Gary Johnson. I've thought about that. And then some people will say, well, you're voting for somebody who has no chance of winning, so you're throwing away your vote. Well, I give up then. What the fuck? What the hell am I supposed to do then? I can't vote for the person who's an asshole and an idiot. I can't vote for the person who's not going to win. Well, hell, I might as well just stay home then. It's just, we're in trouble, people. We are in so much trouble. It's unbelievable. All I want is a candidate. Here would be my perfect candidate, ladies and gentlemen. The perfect candidate would step up to the podium and just say, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave you alone. That's it. That's my platform. Done. You got my vote. That's it. That's all I need to hear. I'm going to leave you alone. I'm not going to tax the hell out of you. I'm not going to take more than 50% of your money and make you an unemployed employee of the federal government. An unpaid employee of the federal government. I'm not going to run you over with stupid regulations. It's just unbelievable. Why are we having to license people that run flower shops and hair salons? I don't understand it. Why do we spend more money than we take in? I don't understand that. Everybody else has to live with a budget. Why doesn't the government? And it's not like we've got a revenue problem. You hear that all the time too. Oh, well, we have to have a combination of solutions here. We can't just cut expenditures. We have to raise taxes in order to bridge the gap. No, we generate over $3 trillion in taxable revenue for the government. If you cannot build a utopia on $3 trillion of taxable revenue, you cannot build it for 20 trillion. It can't be done. We are bringing in plenty of money. Money is not the problem. A starvation of liquidity is not the problem. We spend too fucking much. That's the problem. We spend it on shit we don't need. We spend it on people who don't deserve it. And we just waste it. Absolutely waste it. I am totally convinced. And hey, if you think I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. But I am totally convinced that we could run this federal government 3 to 4 times more efficiently on half the budget. Yep, that's what I just said. So we're bringing in, I don't know, say $3 trillion a year. We ought to be doing 300% better on $1.5 trillion a year. That's how much waste, fraud, and abuse there is. This is how you get boondoggles in government. And you know, both sides, they got their sacred cows. The left, the Democrats, the social engineers. You know, they want to keep all of their public programs, and they want to make sure everybody's basically has their life taken care of them by the government, aka the taxpayer. And then on the right, you've got the Jesus freaks who basically never want to cut anything in the U.S. military. And hey, I am the biggest U.S. military supporter there is. I come from a family of military. But if you think we waste so much money in every other part of the federal government, but somehow we are just financial geniuses, financial savants when it comes to spending money on the military, you're crazy. It doesn't work that way. Just as much waste, fraud, and abuse is in the military as anywhere else. And I've seen it firsthand. I've been on military bases. That's how you get F-22 boondoggles and Joint Strike Fighter boondoggles, where they originally say it's going to cost X amount of dollars and you get Y amount of planes. Then it ends up being a 600% cost overrun and you get 6 times fewer planes. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Hell, Canada doesn't even want the Joint Strike Fighter anymore. Australia doesn't want it. Europe's having a problem with it. They only want the jump jet one. The F-22, Jesus, God almighty. I mean, we know what works. You know, then they try to can the A-10. We know F-15s, F-16s, F-18s, A-10s work. Hell, I'd rather have another 1,000 of those babies than some of these other toys that we spend way too much money on that never work half the time. But hey, what do I know? What do I know? I'm just trying to maintain my own life, stay out of trouble. So I don't know what I'm going to do this election. I may just stay home. I don't know. I've never done that before, but it's just getting to be so depressing and so disappointing that I feel like there's no voice out there for people like me anymore. And by people like me, that might just be me alone. I don't know. I might be the only one with these kind of opinions and ideas. But in any case, that's where I stand on that. So we'll see. I'll give you an update on what I think after Super Tuesday. Ohio is not in the Super Tuesday voting, so I don't know when we vote. So that's that. So anyways, thanks for watching. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you think I need to go see a psychologist, hit the dislike button. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe so you never miss an episode. Take care.